Vivek Ramaswamy running for Ohio governor. Mr. Vivek, people hear trillionaire, they're like, oh my God, this is getting ridiculous. What do you tell those people?
What I tell those people is we're at a fork in the road for the future of the country in our attitude towards success. Do we believe that success is something that we celebrate, which I believe is the American way, or do we believe that success is something that we ought to villainize? And my message, Jesse, to all the young people who are falling in love with socialism is that someone else's success does not take away from your ability to achieve your goals. Actually, when someone else succeeds, it makes you more likely to succeed as well. Just think about this story. Think about the story of America. We're in the 250th anniversary of the birth of our country. What made America great? It was, in part, our system of free enterprise, and it was the fact that we as a country are a magnet for the best and brightest around the world. Think of the story of Elon Musk, a kid born in South Africa, eventually finding his way to the United States to pursue the American dream, now the most successful entrepreneur in history. That isn't just a story about Elon Musk. It is a story about America. And you think about that American dream, we call it the American dream for a reason, because there is no Canadian dream, there is no British dream, there's no Chinese dream. It is that American dream that makes American exceptionalism possible. And if I'm maybe getting passionate about it because it's very personal to me, Jesse. I've lived that American dream. And I think that's what makes our country the greatest country known to the history of mankind. The question for us going forward is, are we willing to defend it? Are we willing to double down on it rather than wearing the mantle of victimhood? Are we willing to reject the siren song of zero-sum economics, which is a fallacy, as opposed to embracing success, which is what this country was all about? That's what this story is really about at its core, and I think we ought to double down on what made America great.
Well, I agree, but some of the politicians on the other side, it's very appetizing to take that wealth. They want to say, $1 trillion, we're going to get some of it, we're going to give it to you, and they can run on that, and sometimes they can win on that. Well, what's the message to them?
Well, the message to them is that's a form of exploitation. At the end of the day, when you sort of give away government benefits without work requirements attached to it, it shrinks the size of the pie. And I don't want to see us become a nation that's fighting over the scraps of a shrinking pie. We want to grow the pie. At the end of the day, capitalism is the best system known to the history of man to lift people up from poverty. When they tore down the Berlin Wall, which way did people go? I'm sorry, Jesse, they weren't running east to the Soviet Union. They were moving west. And I think America is the embodiment of that human potential, embodiment of meritocracy. The idea that no matter who you are or where your parents came from or what your skin color is or even what country you were born in, if you come here the right way, you can achieve the maximum of your own God-given potential without any man or system or bureaucracy standing in your way. That's our national identity. It is the heart of American greatness. And if we reject that, Jesse, we're just like every other nation, ordinary nation in human history. I reject that. This is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It's also the 250th anniversary of Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. Don't forget about that. So you think about the greatness of America. It's capitalism. It's the rule of law. It's the fact that we're a magnet for the best around the world. That is what got us here. And certainly you have the left-wing socialists. They're becoming more and more popular. They're winning primary elections. You're seeing it even this season. Well, I have no hope for the Democrat Party. They're going nowhere. But what I want to see is a Republican Party that once again embraces this idea of celebrating success rather than villainizing it. That's who we are, and I think it's on our shoulders to lead our country back to light, back to success, back to economic expansion. That's what we're going to do.
All right. Well said. Vivek, great to see you. Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.